Alright, today we're going to talk about 12 characteristics that gurus have used in the past, and some of them they're using currently, but just with a twist on it to sell products. So why are we looking at what the gurus did to sell products, lots of products? Well, because we ourselves want to be able to be in a position to use the good that they did, use those good principles, and leave the bad ones alone. So there's some good ones and some bad ones, and we're just going to take a look at real quickly so that you can, when you start putting your business together, you can decide which one of these things you're going to use and not use. I have my recommendations, but like I said, you can decide which one you're going to use, which one you're not going to use. Anyway, most of them use these principles, so let's get started. 12 common characteristics of successful gurus. They were successful not only because they were being marketed, but they had similar characteristics that made them put them at the top of the pile. Let's take a look. Characteristic number 1, they did their research. This is a good one. They did their research. They did their research on the subject matter that they were teaching. So they were knowledgeable. So when a question about the subject matter was presented, they could answer it and articulate it intelligently, which lends them credibility with the masses. So they had to do their research. So if you're going to sell something, or you're going to be a part of something, so that's the hard part when you're doing a new opportunity. You're not really knowledgeable, so it's hard for people when they ask you questions for them to have confidence in you, because you don't even have confidence in yourself. So but if you study more, if you learn more information about it, you'll be more confident in when you're presenting the information. But anyway, they did their research. They studied, they found out, they knew about the subject matter, and they knew how to present it, and that's what gave them credibility, and ultimately the people started to trust their expertise. Next, this is also a good one. Characteristics number 2, they don't accept that their idea can't be done. They came up with an idea that people would buy stuff from them, even though they never had met them. They didn't know who they were. They didn't trust them. Anything. They didn't accept that because of those things, they couldn't make a business work. They didn't accept that. They thought they could, and they did it. So this is just how they put everything together. What worked for them and what worked for their personality, but they didn't accept that their idea can't be done. They just didn't accept that. They just said, okay, it can't be done with you in my circle. I have to remove you from my circle and get somebody in my circle that thinks like me. Right? Characteristics number 3. This is a good one too. They built a support team around them that shared their vision of success. So they don't have people around them involved in their business that doesn't share the same vision that they share, or at least support their vision. They don't have people around them. If the person doesn't support the vision and doesn't work to achieve the ultimate goal, they're out. So they only have people around them that are going to support their version of success. Characteristic number 4. Now this is a bad one. This is a bad one. They promised big and upsold bigger. So before the person could even do good on the first promise, they're already upselling them a bigger promise, and a bigger promise, and a bigger promise, and a bigger promise. So they don't even let the person use the first bit of information to make that work and lend themselves even more credibility. They are already on top of the person when they bought that product to buy the bigger product. Anyway, that was bad, and most of them marketed to older people and people who didn't have time. See, a younger person has time to go back to work and make up the 16, 15, $20,000 spent thinking that they were going to get somewhere. And oh, it's a mistake. It's all a scam. Okay, well now I got 10 or 15 more years that I can work and make this thing work. But most of these people that they were sold these products weren't in that position. They were older people, and so this way you got to really watch who you market to. There's better ways to analytically market to people today, and my suggestion is to look into those, because if you market to people that really can't afford what you're doing, you're gonna have a lot of returns, number one, and then the next thing is, sooner or later the alphabet boys are gonna come knocking on your door, the FBI, the IRS, and the SEC. You don't want those people knocking on your door, because they never come to your door with a cake saying, "I just want to welcome you to the neighborhood." They always come with bad news, bad news. So yeah, you don't want to get a visit from any of those people. So just promise, under promise, and over deliver. Don't over promise and under deliver. Under promise and over deliver. And if you sell something to a customer, try to help them make that work first before you try to upsell them to something that's even more major and more expensive that they won't be able to use, because they're all using the money they spent on the first system. Yeah, so you don't want to promise too much and deliver less than that. Anyway, the next thing is characteristic number 5. It's also bad. They mostly operated on a paradigm that was false. So the paradigm that they operated on is that anybody at any time could be a millionaire using these techniques, and that's false. Everybody's not going to be rich all at the same time. But that is the nature of the paradigm when you're selling to the masses products in that way. It's better to sell them in a way where if you come to my special training, I can help you get there. But not anybody who picks this up off the ground can be successful at any time. That is untrue. And so that leads people in the wrong direction and makes them make emotional decisions. And which means, when I say emotional, instead of paying their rent or their mortgage or paying their car note, they throw all their money into something like this, and it doesn't work, and then they're stuck forever. Credit's messed up. Their finances are all messed up because of that one trip. Because most people in America are one trip and slip and fall away from financial disaster, and so that's all they need. And then on top of that, being an older people, most of the people that were buying into these courses are older people, and so they were spending their life savings, and now they don't have 10 more years to work on a job because they're already retired or whatever, and they don't have it. So that was the paradigm that they worked off of, and not really them, but just them, the guru himself or herself, and the marketing team that they had. They just sell everything to everybody because they just want to get a commission. They're not really worried about what's going to happen to the other people and whether they're going to be poor or they're going to have problems later. They don't worry about that. They tell themselves, I'm helping this person be rich, so it shouldn't be a problem. Anyway, that's bad. That's bad. If you're going to sell something to the people, help the people. Don't just sell it to them and just destroy them. All right, moving on. Characteristics number 6. Well, this is a good one. They have pretty packaging. They package their products in a way where the people would look at the product and appreciate the way the product looked and the way it was packaged and the way it was delivered, and say, this has a certain air of professionalism. So remember, when you design products and you set them up, you want them to have a professional look to them, so that the people, that'll add credibility to you as an instructor or a teacher or whatever you're trying to do, and it'll add credibility to your business. The next thing is characteristic number 7, which was a good one as well. They let off with the most inexpensive product first. So most of them back in the day, most of these gurus that I'm talking about, they let off with the free seminar. Meet me at the hotel at the by the airport, and only the first 400 people are going to be able to get in, and then we're going to talk about I want to tell you how you can be rich. And so it's free. All you have to do is show up. It's free. What they don't tell you is when you get there, they got a bunch of other speakers that's going to speak to you first, and they're going to try to sell you stuff. And then this person, the actual keynote speaker, is going to speak, and they're going to try to sell you stuff. And what the whole purpose of this free meeting is to get your contact information so that they can try to upsell you something else later. That's the whole purpose of this. I mean, it has a good and a bad, but the good thing is they let off with their most inexpensive product first. How can you say no to something free? I'm going to tell you how to be rich, and I'm going to do it for free. I mean, they couldn't say no. It's an offer you can't refuse, right? Right. So that made sense. The next characteristic was they knew what number 8, they knew what their customer wanted to hear to pull the trigger. So there's certain things that have to happen in a person's head before they say, I'm going to go to the bank and take out $1,000 and buy this product, or $500 or $250 or whatever it is. I'm going to do that. Certain things have to happen. Certain places have to be, certain places in the mind have to be checked off. Okay, we checked this mark off. We checked that off. It's your mind you have a mental checklist of things that have to happen before you can say, okay, I'm going to pull my wallet out and go ahead and buy this. Now, some people don't have that checklist because they're so desperate. They don't have time to check off anything. In their world, this has to work. And you don't ever want to buy anything from that position. Well, this has to work. It has to. Or I'm, it's gone. It's like, the Spanish burning the boats, in Mexico. You know what I mean? Either you make it work here, or cause you're not going back. You know what I mean? So my point is, you don't want to be in that position. You don't want to have to work with your back against the wall. You want to always work with a swivel when you can swivel and see what's going on. And to do that means you can't make decisions based entirely on emotion and desperation. You want to be able to use your brain. So the people that were using their brain, they knew they had a little mental checklist. Oh, okay. Sounds good. Check. Looks good. Check. Social proof. Check. Other people like me that did it. Check. And sometimes it's something that's as small as you can get your money back if you're unsatisfied. Check. Done. So whatever that customer wanted to hear, they knew what they just did the research to find out what their customer wanted to hear before they pulled that trigger. And so that's what they presented always in their materials and in their marketing campaigns. The next thing, characteristic number 9, it's also good. They made purchasing their products easy. It's easy. All you have to do is go get your wallet. Oh, I don't have the money right now. No problem. We put you on a payment plan. Send us a check for half of it now. And they made it easy to buy their products. Easy to buy their products. And that's what you're going to have to do. You're going to make it so easy. It's hard for somebody to say no. It's easier for them to just go ahead and buy the product than to walk away from you or go somewhere else from surfing from you. The next thing is characteristic number 10. This one was bad. They made refunds a nightmare for the customers. So the customers that tried to return products to them, they just made an awful situation for those people, man. awful situation, and people had to, in some cases, have a year-long account for their activities and all kind of crazy stuff like that. It was just ridiculous. It was just absolutely ridiculous. In any business, you're going to have returns. You're going to have refunds. You're going to have people. I don't care how straightforward you lay it out. You have some people that just are not going to get it, and they're going to refund. You're going to have some refunds. That's just the way it is. That's just how it is in business. You know what I mean? So you just have to be like eBay. You see a big company like that, they don't argue with no one. They just give the person their money back, right? They don't give the person their money back because they see the bigger picture. eBay's making about $14-15 million a day. Why are they going to stop on a $79, bike, because the person has a dispute about a bike? Just get a person their money back, and they worry about it later. They have an account for when they have to give money back and stuff like that. They have all that set to the side already. But to argue with the person, it will put eBay in a bad light. So eBay doesn't want to be in that bad light. So they just go ahead and just get a person their money back. You ain't gonna never have no problem because we gonna give you your money back, and we'll figure out on the other end what's going on. So that's how they do that. And so you don't want to have it so everything's a nightmare when these people, and there are going to be some, I don't care what you're selling, there are going to be some that are going to be unsatisfied. So you're just going to have to give them their money back. That's the best policy, in my opinion. Anyway, the next thing is characteristic number 11. This was a good one as well. They constantly tested their market to see what was working best. So they constantly tested the market to see, oh, this way of marketing the product is better. Oh, that way of marketing is better. I need to say this more. I need to say that less. They constantly were testing the market to see what was good, and they were always getting information from their marketplace, trying to find out what's the better way, what's working now. If I've been selling for 2 years and this is working, but what's working now? What are the trends that's coming on now? So you're going to have to keep yourself educated at all times and update any marketing materials that may be out of date. Right? Right. And the last characteristic is characteristic number 12, which is a bad one. They made it seem like anyone could do the program and be successful without any directional help. Yeah, I can do it. Anybody can do it. If I can do it, anybody can do it. But that may not be the case. That may not be the case. So what it has to happen is you're going to sell less if you tell the truth. Hey, you know what? This is not for everybody. This is for people that have this type of mentality and mindset. This is not for everybody. Anybody can't do this, but anyone can do this with my help. But anyone can't just pick this up and do it, because if they could, everybody be doing it. So obviously it can't be done by everybody. So if you tell the truth, they would have made a lot more money on the back end, to my opinion, because people would have said, okay, well, if you can just take me to the lake instead of trying to show me how to build a lake, you can just take me to the lake, then I'll just go with you. But anyway, I just want to go over these 12 characteristics. You can see which ones are good, which ones are bad. You can go through this video again and see which ones are good and which ones are bad. And then you can, try to use them to help yourself create a business where you don't have these things you don't have the bad things going on. You just have the good things going on. And any improvements you can make to this list, go ahead and make those improvements, and then you can make you some real money. Until I talk to you again, peace.